Okay, guys. So, just want to give you guys a little bit of an update and also talk about, some of the observations. We've got some new tools, and I mean, honestly, we're building tools that no one else has built before, so we're learning how to use our own tools, through observation. So, I want to give you a quick update on that, um, and then also talk about just playing the strategy. Today, if you look at the EMA clouds, you can see that they're going sideways. So if the EMA clouds are sideways, you don't have a trend. You can scalp it, if you want to do that, but you're not going to be holding runners. Okay, so runners we only hold if there's a trend, and we might see a trend here later today or any minute now, who knows? But I want to talk a little bit about levels because I think sometimes, so we have a good strategy, it works pretty well, the bot is, very accurate, the strategy is very good, but, we tend to forget about levels, and you will remember I always say that levels are, more important than anything else. And yesterday was another reminder of that, and I'll show you why. Um, but I mean, so this is SPY 2 minutes up here, then you have VIX 2 minutes down here, VIX 1 minute. Um, I've changed the indicator so that the 3448 EMA cloud is much darker, more visible, and then I've changed the 513 and made it lighter because in some ways it's a little bit less important. You can see here when we were playing the SPY, we rejected the 3448 EMA cloud, and then you have some downside. And so these are the things I want you to watch for. Uh, when we're moving outside of these bands, I mean, think of these outer bands as levels as well. I want to go back here yesterday. Now, I was coding in the afternoon, so unfortunately, I missed. Let's see, I missed a lot of that move. But if you're gonna go back with the indicator, so obviously, so I got in around here and I sold around there. Um, but I think so. What I want to show you, how not to miss these big moves. I mean, it's okay to do small moves, but you want to wait for these bigger moves. And so if you look at yesterday, um, at around 2 o'clock, we had a massive move starting, and you could see that on the VIX. So we had a blue triangle with a yellow triangle on SPY. But what was really nice is look at VIX interacting with the 3448 EMA cloud. Okay, so when we got here, it immediately said, hey, am I going to stay below it or am I going to bounce? And we took a little bit of time here. Okay. You'd also see on SPY, we ran up, we tested the 3448 EMA cloud on the way down. But what happened was we had such a strong move. And then I always tell you guys, take profit on big candles. So this was a big candle. So guess what? Everyone took profit. Also you'll see this blue outer band there. So this is the very extended band. So the first time when you get to it, you're more likely to reject from it as well. So a lot of people got there, they took profit, we fell down, we retested the 3448 EMA cloud, and guess what? We bounced off it. So right here, this interaction right here, then you also have the pre-market low, which was another level. But this, bouncing off this, was really your indication that this is a strong move going up. And then as soon as you get above the VWAP, that's where you could join the position and you would have had an amazing run. And you could see even so those levels count for VIX as well. So look at VIX at exactly the same time we tested the 3448 EMA cloud. We rejected from it. We're below it. But what's even better on the VIX is that we stayed outside of this band, so we had a red band here. We stayed out of it. When we can stay out of these bands, it's a strong move. When you have a strong move down on VIX, that's when you get a strong move up on SPY. So any move that stays outside of these bands, especially if you have a red or green at the upper band, those are strong moves. So I'm telling you these things so that next time you can recognize it, because you need to learn what it looks like on the chart. When you see this, not only should you be taking that trade, but you should be letting the whole group know and say, hey, look what I'm seeing. I'm seeing VIX holding outside of the lower band, and look at it rejecting the EMA clouds. I mean, so these are the things that I'm hoping to build a group with so that we don't miss these things. So when I was off coding, it would be nice to, for the group to have a notification system and say, hey, get your butt back here. Let's look at this. This is looking very bullish, and we can look at it together as a group, and we cannot miss these outside moves. And then also this will tell you to stay in it. So even when you get in and there's a little bit of chop, you look at this and say, hey, it's holding outside of this lower band. It's below the red EMA clouds. It's bouncing off this band. It keeps going lower. So you can hold through these moves even when you have a little bit of red on your trade. So so I want to make sure you guys understand why these things are so important, so that we can not miss it. Look at these EMA clouds, 3448, beautiful. So now you can see it's much easier to see on all of these charts if you're going to update the indicator. Any questions on this? Because I mean, this is super important, because we you shouldn't be trading like every little move unless you're scalping. But when you see these kind of things, you should know this is the time to get in. Any questions? Sure, absolutely. So obviously, so that's yesterday, so it's no good for yesterday. Um, but let's go to today. And so what you want to do is, so obviously, like this morning, we had a nice move down. We stayed outside of the lower band. We had some chop, and so I got some of these puts here and did well, and then I got in on the calls, and then I just before I moved my stops up, I had this dump, so I'd lost a little bit of money there, but that's fine. But if you look at this, again, we're moving sideways. So if you look at the EMA clouds here, and the VWAP, it's sideways. So this is not a good time to trade. And if you're going to look at the new tool, you'll see that it's going to jump between calls making money and puts making money and back and forth. So don't expect a lot of value from this tool when you're moving sideways, because I mean, honestly, it's just going to jump back and forth. You're also eventually, if it's sideways action, then everyone loses. Whether you have calls or puts, that's when it's better to sell them, because they will go to zero, and then you make more money. But that's much more risky. So on a day like today, you should not expect any value from this tool, honestly. I mean, it once you start seeing a trend, it's going to help you. But I think you're going to remember, we're below the EMA clouds. We're below the 3448. So any kind of calls are against the trend. Okay, so if you're going to take any kind of calls, and it looks like it wants to go up, but what you guys have to remember is we had some really, really strong moves. Okay, and a market cannot keep going up or down nonstop. It needs to take a little bit of a breather. Okay. So right now it's taking a breather, and it might just go sideways all day long, or it might get some direction here later today. But part of the discipline of trading is, obviously if you want to scalp and you want to take profits quickly, that's fine. But, the disciplined trader should say, I'm going to wait until I get above this 3448 EMA cloud. And I'm also not only going to do that, I'm going to wait for it to come back and retest it and then bounce before I go up. Um, because right now you can see the long wicks on these candles. These are chop. You see this rejection. So I got some more puts here as soon as I saw that rejection. And again, it's, we always talk about mean reversion. So, I mean, we're just, as long as we stay inside of these bands, we're just like bouncing between the bands and the VWAP. So we're just mean reverting. We're just burning premium. And there's really no reason to get into a trade until you see a rejection from the top band or a bounce from the bottom band. Um, so today, I mean, honestly, today might be better to trade individual stocks because it's not a SPY day. SPY is consolidating. You might be playing QQQ. You might be playing Tesla or something else. Personally, I'm just playing SPX because, I want to be really good at one thing, and it's working very well for me. So I'm not playing the other stocks, but I mean, obviously that's something you can choose to do. What I see here, if I go and I'll talk about the new tool here in a little bit more as well, but I just want to manage your expectations. It's like on a day like today, where it's sideways action, it's gonna keep jumping around. But so when I look at this, um, so we we have VIX here, and so you go down, you bounce up, you go down, it's sideways. It's not a good day to trade. But what I can tell you is that um, where both of them are below the 3448 EMA clouds. So they're not moving in the same direction now, but they're both quote on the same side of the fence. So to be, that's not that's not a really good trade. You want to wait for them to be on opposite sides of the fence. So right now this guy, it's going down, so it might go up. But I want to see one of these guys crossing the fence, or at least both of them. Then I think it would be a good trade. Other than that, you could scalp, but you know, there's nothing there's nothing bullish about SPY. Um, Even though it looks like it wants to go up, I mean, it's really trying to go up. But I don't know, I suspect that at some point the buyers will get exhausted and you might see a dump down. It might go up as well. So you just don't know. If you want to go up, you need to be above this. So if the bot tells you to get into calls, I would ignore the bot because we're below the 3448 EMA clouds. So you need to know when to trust the bot and when not to. But right now, all that the only options right now, I believe, is just scalping. So you get puts at the top, and if you're wrong, you stop out very quickly. So I got at the top, I got into puts. If it broke the 48 EMA, then I would have stopped out. So I got inputs there, and then it ran down, and so then I just sit on it, and then I take some profits, and then keep. So those are the plays for you know a mean reversion market like this. Is you wait until you get to the top, and then you say, okay, am I gonna buy a put, and then it's gonna go down? Um, and then stop out if I'm wrong. But if you want to go for calls, really, and again, I mean, I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm not telling you what to do because it's your money. But before I get into any calls other than a scalp, I want to see it retest the 48 EMA from the top and then bounce. Um, or the other thing is, I want to see I want to see the VIX below the lower band. So if the VIX can get and stay below the lower band, I would get into calls as well. Like here we did, and so this looked good, but then it couldn't hold it. So if VIX can get below the lower bands and hold there, then absolutely, you're looking at a good move for calls. So right now, we got the yellow triangle. You could get in and make some money, but it's risky because uh, everything's not aligned. It looks like now we're starting to see some something happening here. So if SPY can get and hold below the lower band, then I think it would be a good move for calls. But again, you don't have to worry that you're going to miss it because if it's going to be a strong move, there's going to be plenty of opportunity to get in. I think the mistakes the mistakes we always make is we want to chase it because you see that big green candle, your emotions jump in, you're like, oh, it's finally happening. I knew it was going to happen. Now I want to get in. So you get in at the top, and guess what? Then it turns on you, and then you're immediately red, and then you're like, okay, look, now it's much cheaper. Now I'm gonna add one more, and because I know it's gonna happen, so then you just keep adding to your losers, and sometimes you get lucky and it goes up. So now we're building bad habits, but most of the time you're just providing the liquidity for the guys that's shorting the top right there. Um, so, so I mean, it's a dangerous spot. It's a dangerous spot to get in. Let me just change that thing so I don't have to listen to her. So I mean, it's a very dangerous spot to get in because I mean, it's more likely that people are gonna short the top because we've been in mean reversion all day long. We've had such strong moves. You know, last week it was the bears had the strong moves, then the bulls had the strong moves. So it's healthy for a market to take a breather. And so you absolutely do not want to chase moves and absolutely not today. So unless VIX can get below the lower red band and sustain it, it's just not, it's unlikely that you're going to have a strong move up. I mean, anything can happen, but if you have a strong move up, it will get there. You will get a chance to get in. It's not going to run away from you. It's going to come back and retest, and it's going to bounce, and there will be plenty of opportunity to get in. So don't chase. Like, it's safer to short the top because that's what everyone else is doing when you're going mean reversion. That's what they do. They get to the top, they short it. They get to the bottom, they long it. I mean that's how you make money today, not by chasing it. Okay. Um, any questions before I talk about the new tool, guys? Okay. I mean, so I guess I got lucky and I was right. I mean, short the top. Don't chase it. We're not. I mean, you got to understand how the experienced traders think. You have to understand how retail newbies think. They see a big candle, they get emotional, they jump in. Sometimes they get lucky. Most of the time, they lose their shirt. Um, and it could still go up. I mean, but you're gonna wait for a retest. That's a smart thing to do. So the new tool, I mean, you've so you should be familiar with it. So I put calls on the left and puts on the right, and so I also changed the colors so that it's a little bit easier. So when puts make money, you have the red there, and the green when calls make money. Now, if you keep it open, if it's been open for at least 5 minutes, by default, it will show you who's making money in the last 5 minutes. So it would be rolling. So over the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes since open. Or you can lock it and say when something happens, like the minutes, if OMC minutes comes out, you can just lock it in. So now it will just freeze on that timestamp and it will tell you what's happening, who's making money, and then or 10 seconds. Obviously, that's very short and probably not all that useful. But we're experimenting. We'll see what works. So by default, it's 15 minutes. You can jump around with the time frames and just give me feedback on what works, so that we can just tune it and see how it can help us make money. But it's been very helpful for me to know when a trend is changing. Again, don't expect much results from this tool on a day like today because it's going to keep changing sides. I don't know. Like if you see a strong trend, if you see things move, you want to look at this tool and you want to make sure that it agrees. Like if we would start moving up and puts are still making money in the last minute, then you should question the move. Is it really? So I think that's how you could use it today. Like if you see a move up, but no one's getting behind the calls, then you want to wait. You want to wait until people start piling in behind the calls before you pile in. Yep, exactly. Yeah, that was in the 1 minute. Yep. But I mean, a 1 minute is so short. Exactly. And I mean, it's today is, I mean, right now it's choppy, so, and usually, I mean, many times in the afternoon, we might see some direction, especially like 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30. So, I mean, so you can wait it out, but I mean, you should be careful to you should not be chasing it, because that's when you usually get burned. Um, I mean, it looks like it wants to go up. I mean, but we don't trade looks here. We're reactive. We go with what it shows us, and it looks like, I mean, look at this. It wanted to break below this lower band. It didn't, you know. Um, why not? I don't know. So it's just a choppy mess. So you can scalp, um, you can, short the top. And I mean, so, each time it gets to the top, they say, persistence beats resistance. So, at some point it might break through the top and then you might see, a big and fast move. But the point is, you don't want to get bullish at the top. So right now it's like, okay, we're almost there. I'm gonna get calls. I mean, you're doing it wrong. You should be looking left and see, it's basing around here. So if you want to get into calls, you should be doing it down here. You know what I'm saying? So this is where you're like, okay, I'm gonna pick a direction. It looks like it's basing a little bit here. I think it's gonna go up. And you should be trading what you see, not what you think. But at least if you're gonna trade what you think, get in at the what you think is the bottom. Don't get bullish at the top. Don't get bearish at the bottom. If you think it's going to go down, then you get puts you're at the top. I mean, or you wait until it shows you what it wants to do. But um, it's again, it's not a surprise that we're moving sideways. We've had some amazing moves, you know, and the fact is, so what you have to understand is that the the the, the experienced traders, when they make so much money, they know that, well, first of all, they want to go celebrate and take some time off, okay? Because, freedom is nothing if you spend all your time in front of your screen. So they're gone. They know that it's probably not going to do anything. So, I mean, so everyone that's pushing the market, they're taking off. So you shouldn't, you should be sitting at the gambling table and giving your money to the casino. I mean, you should be watching the price action and learning how to read it. So on crappy days like these, use this as your time to learn how to read the price action instead of gambling and giving your money away. And wait, because I mean, honestly, this afternoon we might get a strong move, and I showed you what a strong move looks like. And so if you get that and you're waiting for it, you're probably not going to miss it. Where if you're in a trade already that's going against you, you're going to miss that strong move because you're like, hey, I really don't want to see red on my, and then you end up adding to your losers and you lose even more. But you should, I mean, it's just do what you want, obviously, but it's, safer to wait for the move, or if you want to scalp, you wait for the top. And that's what I've been doing, all day long. And I've made double my daily target already today. I When it gets to the top, I buy puts. When I get to the bottom, I buy calls, and so then I just play it, up and down, and that's scalping. Obviously, at some point, I'm gonna buy puts at the top, and then I'm wrong. But you know what? Then I just stop out because I've made enough profit with the up and down that it's okay to have a losing trade because it's already paid for. I have my stops. I'm not going to lose more than what I put in. But yeah, that's my opinion. I mean, we start seeing the VIX breaking below the lower band. So that's good. I mean, so I wouldn't be buying puts anymore because, so at this point, I wouldn't be shorting the top anymore because VIX is below the lower band. Now, the question is, can it hold there? If it cannot hold there, then it's no good. But at this point, the mean reversion strategy should be on hold because this looks like we may see a breakout here based on what VIX is doing. So I mean, so if you think that's what it's doing, get one call right now, and be ready to stop that. But I mean, so if you want to trade anything, this is the time to get one call, okay? Because the VIX is telling me that we want upside at this point, okay? Um, but take it at your own risk. But you have to give it some breathing room. Your stop cannot be too tight. That's why you want to play small, because VIX could bounce anytime. But no puts while VIX is below the lower band. Personally, I would wait for a retest. That's safer. Um, but this is a possibility that we might see some upside based on what VIX is saying. Unless, VIX bounces and get inside of the bands because, it needs to spend more time outside of it to be trusted. Any other questions? I mean, bottom line, it's not a good day to trade. No, it's not. I, I, yep. I'd see. I mean, yours VIX is getting inside of the bands. Okay, so it just shows you it's just choppy price action. I mean, if VIX cannot stay outside of it, you cannot trust it. I mean, like I said, I did well today because I expected after such strong moves, I expected mean reversion. So I've been you know buying calls at the bottom and puts at the top, and I had one losing trade. I was up like $500 right here, and just as I wanted just as I wanted to move my stops up, this thing just destroyed me. So then, I lost a little bit of money. So there was maybe a little bit of greed on my side, but you know how it goes. But yeah, so now we have a green background, so that's good. VIX is below it again, so if you got that one put and held onto it, because we said if you're gonna do it, give it some breathing room. So if you did that right there where we talked about it, you would have been red a little bit, but now um, you should be break even, probably, but if this, so VIX is giving me a little bit of hope for the upside, but again, it's just too soon. I mean, you could wait a little bit longer and let it show you, because at some point, and this is what you have to understand, is there's no reason to chase it, because the experienced traders will wait until the direction is clear, and then they will get in, and that will add to the momentum. So if you chase it, you might get lucky, um, but there's no need to, because there will be plenty of time to get in with the masses, and then at that point, this tool will help you to really see sudden spike. And like Vika is saying, you want to see a nice belly. I mean, you've seen the last 2 3 days when it forms a nice rounded belly either side. That's what you're looking for, because that shows, uh, a coordinated move. When it's choppy like this, and it jumps around, it's not there yet. So you wanna see a nice belly forming, and then that's the time to get in, and wait for that low pullback, because you will get pullbacks, you'll get times to get in. Like I said, I mean, so I'm gonna stop talking now so that you guys can focus on the chart, because like just if you're gonna get involved, um, don't get involved at the top. You should have got involved where we said that would be a great place to do it, because you have a possibility of upside. Um, so now you have to wait for that coming back and retest. But if VIX stays below this lower band, uh, then you might see a nice sustained move to the upside. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Megaspace says, so Tesla looking better. That's okay, Chris. We recorded it, so I'll upload it, and then you can look at it later. But yeah, so we might see some upside, but again, for me, it's too early. But I wouldn't short now. I would not short the top in a mean reversion play, because VIX is below the lower bands. Okay, so no trade for me right now. I want to see some direction. I want to see if VIX can stay below this lower band. If VIX comes in and up, I would be ready. Yeah, I'll be ready to short it again, because if VIX starts spiking, then we're gonna go down. Okay, I'm gonna leave my keyboard right now because I've done enough scalping, mean reversion, and I have an appointment this afternoon. So good luck. I hope it gives you a little bit of upside here. Like I said, it looks like it might. Any other questions, or or something you want to contribute, Vic? Yes. Okay. Well, good luck, guys. Okay, so look at VIX here. Okay, so VIX, so it's going up. I mean, it's on the 1 minute, so it could still go down. But I mean, what's your VIX? Okay, this this has to stay sustainably below the lower band for you to see upside here. Okay, and so this is not, it's not able to decide. And if it starts going up, I would be scalping puts. But like I said, I'm gonna leave my keyboard now. I gotta get ready for my appointment. But good luck, guys. I'm thinking hopefully more tomorrow we'll see better price action. It's Friday. You never know. Many Fridays we get a nice sustained move. I would say about half of the time we get decent moves on Fridays. But yeah, I'll be trading tomorrow.